Salute to Grand Pooba. You know how it goes. Fire. Let's talk about something real fast though, man. D.J.S, you already know what it is. Hit the like, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. I'm tranquil home from work. Let's talk about something real quick that I've been seeing circulating. We're keeping up with the Joneses. That is my last name. But we ain't talking about me. We're talking about Nasir Jones and Jim Jones. Jim Jones has been speaking and saying some things that people are definitely objecting to. But let me keep it tall. I'm going to tell y'all what he should have said. All he had to say was this. But let me get to that after. When I seen him say what he said the first time, right? I think it was on Jada and Joe. Salute to Kiss and salute to Joe, Fat Joe. Right? When he said what he first said, now obviously some people were like, okay, yeah, he's bugging. He's going to have a fan base too. And they're not going to think he's bugging. Right? I did see that little interview with that youngin' and how he was saying, or the things that he was saying. But as far as what Jim was saying, him even saying the numbers and all that. Now, a lot of times until you research, you don't know. So you might have heard that the first time as he said it. Okay. I doubt it. But a lot of us probably didn't even know. But we're definitely in doubt. Right? He comes out. He gets corrected on that. They put up all the numbers. The Grammy nominations, the this, the that. Number ones, Billboard hits. All that type of stuff, right? Now he corrects himself and says, oh, I made a little boo-boo. You sure did. You sure did. I don't know what made you think that. And Nas has been here since the 90s. And you're more of a 2000 guy. But here's the thing, right? He goes from that to influence. There's more of an argument there. There's more of an argument there. There's more of a conversation to be had about Jim Jones being more influential than Nas in today's era in 2025. There is. So you go from that, and I also hear him say he'll wrap circles around Nas today. He really won't, but I like the confidence, and every rapper is supposed to feel like that. You're supposed to think you're the best. Nothing's wrong with that. It's just the fans gonna bring you back to earth. Now, he says all that. Then he goes on, salute to Esso and Heineken. Salute to them, because I like Bag Fuel. Bag Fuel is fire to me. I like Heineken and Esso as a team. When they left Math, I thought that was going to be the next pod. And I'm glad that they're reaching that plateau. So shout out to them. Shout out to Bag Fuel. And I almost felt like he was kind of doubling down a little bit. Now, let's just go here real fast. We all know, lyrically, as an MC, most people are not better than Nas. Jim is one of them. He's not better than Nas. As an MC and a lyricist, he's not better. He doesn't have as many big songs, doesn't have as many giant songs out there. He don't got that. Here's what Jim should have said or could have said. All he had to say was, in today's era, I make just as good of music as a Nas or whoever. There would be more of a conversation there, because truth be told, you got to give Jimmy his credit. Jim Jones makes good music. He always has. Always has. Jim got an ear for beats and production and all that. he has more of an argument for saying I make just as good of music. Not better, just as good as. Now, some people are going to disagree. Some people may agree. But it would have way more people who will say, you know what, I could understand that more than you saying that you'll wrap circles around Nas. Or you have more hits than Nas. You're bigger than, or whatever. Because mad people ain't going to be jocking that. Most hip-hop fans will probably not jock that. Unless they're your fans. But does Jimmy really have an argument with that? I feel like he kind of does. Because Jimmy's music is always good. He always has good albums. He always drops good projects. His mixtapes are always good. Jim Jones makes good music. We're not doing that. I'm not taking nothing away from Jimmy. Jimmy makes good music. And as far as the influence, he may have a point there. He may. Some people may have seen the style and the fashion that he comes with and be influenced by it. I can see that. I can see that. You do be getting fly from then to now. From Dipset to now. Wearing some things that might be more unique and different than what everybody else is wearing. So you might have a little bit of an argument with that. If he would have went influence and just as good of music, I don't think people would have been that much in an uproar and that heavily to disagree. The minute you say rap circles are on a lyricist, bruh, the minute you say you're gonna wrap circles around Nas of all people, you pick the nigga who people, a lot of them have him in the top 3 to 5 best hip-hop album ever. Top 3 to 5 lyricist MC ever. You went way too high with that one. You shot for the moon with that one. You was reaching way too high with that one. But if you would have said you make just as good as music, there's more of an argument there. That's all he had to say. I think it would have been less of an uproar if we just came out and said, you know what, my music is just as dope. My music is just as good. I make very good music. It's consistent. And he would be right. He would be right. But that's not what he said. I think that's the issue. If he would have said something else, wouldn't have been that crazy, I don't think. All he had to say was, my music is just as good as, I don't care if it was Nas, whoever it was. Whoever would have named. Ghost, Jadakiss, doesn't matter. Less uproar. The uproar is you saying you're better and having more hits and all of that, and then getting it dispelled, and then you double down, then it looks like, yo, you tripping. So even if you are trolling to go viral, I feel like it may help you to get some traction, but I don't know if that's the attention you want. I don't know. Y'all gonna have to tell me. I don't know. I'm not trying to go viral. So if that's his goal, get him named more in the algorithm, it's working. If that's gonna bring people in traction to your album and to your music, I'm cool with that too. If that's what's gonna happen. Just the route, I'm not sure about. Because people be like, what? Wrap circles around. Better than. Even in 2025, Nas at 50-something years old. Not better than Nas. Most people at Nas now is still better than 90% of the people who rap. We didn't even have to go back to halftime, one mic. We don't have to go back to none of those. We don't have to go back to none of that. God's son, we don't have to go back to none of that. The one we see here right now, King's Disease Nas, is still better than most people rapping. Clearly, too. Clearly. This is Nas we talking about. Nasty Nas. Escobar. Who been had bars. Shout out to Jim Jones, though. I do think he does make good music. And that's all he had to say, in my opinion. Just tell him that you make just as good as music. I don't think it would have been that much of an uproar, but you saying you're better than and you can wrap circles around, right there, we're going to feel like you're tripping. But I'm not knocking Jim at all. He's supposed to feel that way. He's supposed to be confident. I just don't know if that route to being viral is going to be, it's all promo is good promo. I don't know if that one's going to be, though. I'm not sure. Y'all let me know in the comments, if anything. But shout out to Jim Jones. Shout out to Nas. If anything, I seen some people saying, you know what, maybe Nas should respond. And if they go back and forth on wax, if they go back and forth in the booth, if they go in the booth, I don't even know how that would turn out, because I don't know what Jim would say. I know lyrically he ain't going to be seeing him, but whatever he says, that's totally different. Bar for bar, lyrically wise, pen wise, it's going to be night and day. Rapping wise might be a little bit too, but whatever the content is, that's going to be different. But let's just hope it don't. Oh, I ain't going mad if it goes there. If it goes there, it goes there. If it goes there, it goes there. I definitely think Mr. Ether knows what he's doing when it comes to that. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Hit the like, subscribe, let me know what y'all think. Jimmy, all you had to say was your music is just as good. Better than, even in today's world, they're gonna go right at your head. They're gonna go right at your helmet, bro. Right at it. And they ain't gonna play. Just because it's Nas you're talking about. If it was anybody else, I don't know if it'd be the same. Once it's a J, a Nas, Ghost, any one of them niggas, people definitely gonna disagree with that. But just as good as music, I don't think there's that much of a disagreement. In my personal opinion, Jimmy makes just as good as music. In my opinion. Right now in 2025, in the 2000s period, Jimmy's made some really good music. Gotta give it up to him. Better, I'm not gonna say that, but just as good. Good music. Gotta give him that. Jimmy's always made good music. But better than Nas, even in 2025, nah. People ain't jocking that. And me as a DJ, definitely not either. But that's my opinion. Hit the like, subscribe, let me know what y'all think. The music is as good though. Maybe you're not better, you're not on a higher level, but it's good. That's my whole point. He makes good music. Hit the like, subscribe, let me know what y'all think. DJ already.